Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing a full detail explain of the Muktika Upanishad. We're going to methodically break down this profound, ancient dialogue that really serves as a comprehensive guide to ultimate spiritual freedom. If you've ever wondered how the various branches of ancient Indian philosophy actually map out the psychology of enlightenment, well, you're in the exact right place. This specific text is incredibly unique because it acts as a sort of master key to all the other Upanishads. It provides a definitive, clear-cut roadmap for the spiritual seeker.
So, let's start our journey into the esoteric wisdom of Advaita Vedanta. This is a philosophy deeply, completely grounded in the sacred infinite reality represented by the syllable Om. This whole concept of non-duality, the idea that your individual soul and the supreme reality are ultimately the exact same thing, is the absolute beating heart of the text we're looking at today. To really wrap your head around this, it helps to know that the sounds of Om actually encapsulate all states of human consciousness. We're talking waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, leading all the way to that profound silence of pure awareness that sits just beyond them.
The whole thing kicks off with this really powerful narrative hook in the beautiful city of Ayodhya. You've got Hanuman, who is deeply devoted and seeking the ultimate truth, and he asks Lord Rama a question that honestly resonates with anyone who has ever felt trapped by the cycle of human suffering. He asks how to be released from bondage, but listen to this specific part, how to do it without strain. I mean, that is just such a relatable human desire, isn't it? Wanting enlightenment, but without the impossible, agonizing struggle. Rama's answer to this one compelling question forms the entire basis of the Muktika Upanishad.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the quest for liberation, the types of mukti, the curriculum of 108, the roots of bondage, and finally conquering the mind.
Section 1. The Quest for Liberation, the Dialogue in Ayodhya. To really get this text, we have to first look at how Rama sets up the theoretical framework for Hanuman's quest. When Hanuman asks where he can actually find this liberating knowledge, Rama beautifully points out that the path to self-realization is found in Vedanta. But he doesn't just say it's a part of the Vedas, he says it's hidden, yet entirely present within them, exactly like oil exists invisibly inside a sesame seed. Just think about that metaphor for a second. Just as you need immense pressure and crushing of the seed to extract the oil, you need rigorous study, contemplation, and meditation to extract the profound truth of Vedanta. It's the very essence just waiting to be revealed. Section 2. The Types of Mukti, Defining Spiritual Freedom. So Hanuman notes that sages speak of a lot of different paths and outcomes. This prompts Rama to clearly lay out the different degrees of liberation, or mukti, just so there's absolutely no confusion about the ultimate goal. Look at how sages define these 4 progressive states of liberation that you typically achieve through devotion. First, you have Salokya, which means achieving residence in the exact same divine world or realm as the divine. Then comes Sarupya, which is taking on a similar divine form yourself. Next up is Samipya, achieving intimate proximity to the divine. And finally, Sayujya, this total merging or identity with the supreme. But here's the kicker. Rama tells Hanuman that while these states are, wonderful achievements, they're essentially just stops along the way.
The crucial point Rama is making here is that true, ultimate freedom is actually a 5th state. It's called Kaivalya. Now, the word Kaivalya roughly translates to aloneness or this absolute isolation of consciousness. It's not about living near the divine or having some divine form. It is the complete isolated realization that you are the divine reality, entirely free from any illusion of a separate self. And this, Rama really stresses, can only be achieved through direct, unfiltered knowledge.
Moving on to Section 3, the curriculum of 108, the ascending ladder of knowledge. To achieve this state of Kaivalya, Rama doesn't just tell Hanuman to, go meditate vaguely. He gives him a highly specific, tiered curriculum of study.
Let's look at how this actually builds. It's kind of fascinating. For some people, just fully grasping one incredibly potent text, the Muktika Upanishad, is totally enough to trigger full realization. But human minds can be incredibly stubborn, right? So if that doesn't work, Rama says, scale it up to the 10 principal Upanishads. If you still don't have absolute certainty, expand it to 32. And finally, if you want ultimate deliverance, moksha without the body, you literally have to read and absorb the full canon of 108 Upanishads.
And that number right there, 108, is the absolute anchor of the Muktika Upanishad. Actually, this very text is historically famous specifically because it provides the definitive accepted list of these 108 texts required to destroy all bodily and mental attachments. It is quite literally the ultimate syllabus for enlightenment. But wait, Rama is super strict here. He warns that you can't just hand the essence of the 108 Upanishads out casually. A teacher has to rigorously test a student. This knowledge demands a qualified vessel, someone devoted to service, someone with great conduct, who genuinely seeks wisdom and is completely devoid of deceit. This isn't just arbitrary gatekeeping. Actually, scratch that. It is gatekeeping, but for a good reason. Handing these advanced psychological dismantling tools to someone with a deceitful or unprepared mind can be genuinely dangerous. You absolutely must have a rock-solid ethical foundation first.
Section 4. The Roots of Bondage. The Psychology of Samsara. Now that we have the syllabus laid out, we have to look inward and ask, what exactly are we using all this immense knowledge to free ourselves from? What is trapping us?
The text zeroes in on vasanas as the core problem. Vasanas are basically our deep-seated, persistent mental impressions, our tendencies, our latent desires. Every single action you take and every desire you indulge leaves a groove in your mind. That groove is a vasana. Think about an everyday example, like getting a sudden, overwhelming craving for comfort food when you're stressed, or that automatic flash of anger when someone cuts you off in traffic. The Muktika Upanishad says that these invisible, conditioned impressions are the very chains locking us into this endless cycle of worldly existence. Rama hits Hanuman with this brilliantly simple psychological truth. The mind isn't a physical trap. It's a trap made entirely out of your own accumulated impressions. So, true psychological freedom isn't about physically escaping the world at all. It only happens when the mind is completely, utterly emptied of these conditioned vasanas. All right, Section 5, Conquering the Mind, the Path to True Peace. So, how do we practically clear out these deeply entrenched impressions? Let's look at the text's highly practical methods for doing exactly that. I love this part. The text gives us this brilliant warning against spiritual bypassing. Rama says that trying to control the mind by brute force or by just sitting in silent frustration without proper reasoning is as impossible as trying to tie up a massive, raging elephant with a delicate little lotus flower stem. It's such a vivid reminder that sheer willpower is totally useless against the deep conditioning of the human mind.
So you don't fight the elephant, right? You systematically calm it down. The Muktika offers this flawless methodology. It takes a combination of philosophical study to sharpen your intellect, keeping company with good people to elevate your environment, actively cultivating detachment from those desires we talked about, and using breath regulation or prana to physically quiet the nervous system. Ancient Indian texts literally view the breath as the physical manifestation of thought, so the mind and the breath are intimately linked. If you can slow down your physical breath, you simultaneously slow down your rushing mind.
If you successfully apply these methods, you hit a fascinating paradox. First, you become a Jivan Mukta, which means liberated while you are still alive. Imagine just walking around, talking, interacting with the real world, but your mind is completely free of egoic attachment. The egoic mind is destroyed, sure, but it leaves behind this pure form made entirely of qualities like universal friendliness and profound peace. Ultimately, when the physical body dies, you transition to a Vida Mukta. Contrast this with the Jiva Mukta. In this final state, the mind becomes entirely formless, completely free from the physical body, and that cycle of karma altogether.
Through all this intense and sustained disimpassion, you hit literal mindlessness. The text uses this gorgeous metaphor. It says, the mind extinguishes smoothly and naturally, exactly like a lamp that has finally run out of oil. Once the oil of the vasanas is completely gone, the flickering flame of the ego just vanishes, leaving absolutely nothing but pure consciousness and bliss.
I'm going to leave you with this final, super provocative thought directly from the text. Rama tells Hanuman that to truly conquer the mind, you eventually have to discard every single impression. Think about what that means. At the very end of your journey, to sever that final chain, you have to give up the very desire for moksha, for liberation itself, because even the desire to be free is still a desire, and therefore it's still a chain. It's a really profound paradox that quietly invites us to just let go completely. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning, keep learning.